it's now the time. So, Ravindra sir and Ishan, I'll start the webinar.
Oh,
So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Building Trusted Data Center. Is your data center ready for the next global trust benchmark? My name is Chavinder Kaur, and I'm from the BSI, and I'm delighted to be your host for this session. Before we begin, let me quickly walk you through a few ground rules to ensure a smooth experience for all. All participants are currently on listen only mode. However, we encourage you all to stay engaged. Please feel free to type your question at any time in the question answer box or chat box. Our speaker will address as many questions as possible during the question answer round at the end of the session. If we are unable to cover your question due to time constraint, we will make sure to respond to you after the webinar. This session is being recorded, and the recording will be shared with you shortly after the session. Now, it's time to welcome and introduce our speaker for today's webinar, Mr. Ravindra NR and Mr. Ishan Mehrotra, who will be leading us through this insightful topic. Ravindra NR is our subject matter expert and lead auditor tutor at BSI India with over 35 years of experience in IT, information security, business continuity, service management, and data center operation. Since joining BSI in 2006, he has conducted more than 4,000 audit man-days and trained over 2,500 professionals across 27 countries. He has extensive experience auditing data center across India, Malaysia, Singapore, Tokyo, Sydney, and Manchester for ISO standard and TIA 942 compliance. Ravindra NR also specializes in HIPAA, NIST, CSF 2.0, and emerging AI related governance and compliance area. Thank you for joining us today, sir. And our second speaker, Mr. Ishan Mehrotra. He is a subject matter expert in sustainability and carbon assurance with over a decade of experience in carbon footprint verification, energy management system, ESG assurance, and net zero transition projects. He has worked with organizations across IT, banking, pharma, automotive, and infrastructure sectors to strengthen sustainability performance and climate reporting. For the data center sector, Ishan brings expertise in GHG inventorization, energy efficiency, sustainability reporting, and carbon management strategies aligned with global ESG and net zero expectation. He is also a GRI certified sustainability professional and supports assurance and training engagements across international carbon and sustainability standards. Thank you, Ishan, once again for joining us today for this session. Now, to start with the webinar,
thank you,
I would
Chavi.
like to hand over it to Ravindra, sir, and over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Chavinder. Thank you all. Good afternoon and welcome to this interesting session on the data center, which is now of a very critical importance following the emergence of AI and AI requiring very high computing and high infrastructure data centers to manage the operation and services. So in this regard, we are sharing some a few information, the best practices, and also about what are the global data center landscape, the key challenges for the data center leaders, what is the regulatory landscape that is prevailing, and what is about this data center markup trust that we are introducing here, and how does it matter? And what is the roadmap to achieve this markup trust and validate globally, and also alignment with the existing ISO standards? And lastly, we have the question answer session. So let me start with the global data center the landscape. As you know, the current traditional data center, the legacy data center, or those which hosting like a co-location infrastructure, which provides you an uptime of 99.9% kind of metrics. And this is how we had managed with the data center. But now, as we are moving towards the new technology with the AI, increasing demand with the infrastructure and the computing power, So it has shifted from just an uptime to a trusted infrastructure. So data centers were normally judged by about their uptime. If you see the monthly SLA report, they used to provide 100% uptime. That gives me just a satisfaction. Okay, data center is working, but that's not the case as of now. We are now more looking at the trusted infrastructure. The trusted infrastructure is emphasizes on the resilience. How resilient is the infrastructure to withstand higher impacts? What kind of resiliency is built in? How is the security? How is the both physical and logical security? How the infrastructure is protected from external and internal threats? And data integrity, how it is maintained within the infrastructure, and compliance, compliance to meet the regulators' requirement. Regulators' requirements are also increasing. It's not just about the managing the infrastructure's regular compliance requirement. It goes much beyond. And so therefore, it's not just about the uptime. The stakeholders are now looking for a clustered infrastructure. And there is a very strategic importance also about the data center, which is emerging with AI coming up, since it is since it is considered as a very national mission critical infrastructure, as well as the challenges about it's consuming large amount of power, water, highlighting sustainability and governance challenges. So the client expectation, clients always demand transparency, zero non-compliance, and long-term reliability, as the industry has shifted from uptime to a trusted infrastructure. As as the data center narrative, data center is now evolving. It's not just we are looking at the revenue alone. The data center are also being critical, not just for revenue, but for customer engagement and operational efficiency within the enterprises. Adding to that, the infrastructure is also now becoming complex. Earlier, we had hybrid data centers. Now there are multi cloud infrastructure, both off premises and cloud computing. And now the edge computing is also increasing the complexity. Edge computing are those small data centers which are near to the users, who can quickly access the data, where the digital signal may not have to travel back and forth for a long time. And they are also a backup to a critical data center. So these edge computing, which are small data centers, are also increasing, and it's increasing the complexity to ensure uninterrupted operation. Cyber threat is always a challenge, and both insider as well as external. Supply chain is also posing a persistent challenge to the data centers, and therefore there is a shift to the trusted infrastructure to ensure the avoiding downtime and ensuring resiliency, security, and governance for the business continuity. So traditionally, we always lived with the uptime. Whenever we used to get a SLA report, 99.99 uptime or 100% uptime, we say the data center is successful. Okay, so it is now now it is the thinking is changing. They are looking for tier classification and reliable standards, with much more rigorous standards to ensure the considering an uptime to a trusted infrastructure. The it is also looking for the redundancy and for fault avoidance. As a data center infrastructure is scaling with the requirement of a huge power backup and the requirement of generators And while these are coming up, the cooling is also another challenging factor, which may result in a single point failure. And to ensure reliability, all these things needs to be looked into. And limitations of a legacy data center. It was uptime centric model kind of a data center which was built, and there was not much focus on cybersecurity, and the supply chain risk were not considered. We used to see so far the failures that have occurred in the data center. When I conducted data center audits, we see that there are human errors, there are supply chain errors, and cascading failures in terms of this interconnected environments. So, so we need a. So what is that we need? We need a holistic infrastructure, a broader strategy beyond uptime, considering the software, the network, the business continuity risk, the supply chain, and the computing, the data center computing becoming more and more complex with edge computing and high power computing model coming up. So we need a very holistic approach and a broader strategy to address these issues. So how are we going to shift from this? Is that we need to look at the digital services or mission critical. The digital services data centers is not just a data center facility. It is a part of a national mission critical digital ecosystem. So therefore, it's a very critical. That is how you need to look at a data center henceforth. And the data centers, they span across the various models in terms of various data centers, edge computing centers, cloud, various cloud providers, and there is also, that comes with increasing failure of likelihood, which we need to address. Cybersecurity is always on the forefront to ensure that the data centers are protected because they are now being targeted by cyber attacks, and ensure that the adequate protections are available, and also operational strain due to this AI workload, because the computing power is increasing, due to which the power for cooling, the power backup requirement, and as well as the infrastructure requirement is increasing the operational risk. In addition to all this, there is a regulatory oversight. While the technology changes are happening, while we are implementing new ways of doing things, while we are upgrading our data center, the regulatory requirements cannot be overlooked. That is in the forefront. And as I said earlier, the data center is not just a facility; it's a part of a national mission critical digital ecosystem. So there's an oversight by them. So all these things poses a challenge in terms of how we build, maintain, and monitor the data centers. So with this given fact, what are the challenges to the data center leaders? So the challenge for the data center leaders in the ecosystem is about managing hybrid and a multi-cloud strategy. A clear strategy has to be brought about in terms of how we are going to manage the hybrid data center, multi-cloud models, including the edge computing. How do we balance the cost and performance at the same time meeting the regulators' requirement? Operational complexity and dependency is also something which needs to be looked at because the supply chain risk always exists, and any failure in this regard will have a cascading failure across the system. And edge computing is expanding its footprint. As I told earlier, these edge computing infrastructures are closer to the users. They are also a backup for the critical data centers, and their footprint is increasing at the same time posing these security challenges. So therefore, there is a focus towards developing a trusted infrastructure for resilience to meet all these challenges, which which requires a coordinated design and a standardized controls and intelligent organizations across the multiple sites and the platforms. Managing interconnected risk. The data center is not just one single facility, one central internal facility. It's about multiple facilities, and there is when it comes to a multiple facility, the challenge keeps increasing, especially the risk factor, the risk about the cyber attack, also the physical security, operational security, and financial threats, which create systematic challenges to the data center leaders. The impact driven from the AI driven system is another big challenge data center leaders are facing in terms of how they are going to manage this infrastructure, which increases the rack density, the computing power, the cooling power, the power requirement will all become a challenge to the data center leaders, and therefore they need to evolve the a better uh, risk management. The risk management includes it's not just about the cyber risk, it also includes the risk about the financial risk. The insurers also look at in terms of how the infrastructure is protected from failure. Is also a high expectation from insurance companies also is coming up to ensure that the loss is minimized. So therefore, the integrated risk strategy, a proper enterprise risk management is required to all this address this issue, ensure that there is the business disruption is prioritized, intelligence is built to anticipate what could be the disruption, and continuity models are built to rapidly recover in case if there is any business disrupting incidents. So in this regard, with the new technology about artificial intelligence coming in, it is redefining the data center operations. So there is a increased infrastructure demands. The current legacy data centers, they are trying to, some of them are trying to scale up to a trusted infrastructure. There are some of them which cannot be scaled up. And there is a question they ask that, what do I do with this? These can be used for low risk application, low risk services, but all these AI related workload, if you need to manage, there has to be a proper infrastructure to be developed to meet the computing, the power, the cooling, all these requirements. So here are a few which are highlighted, which are coming up due to the AI workload on the data center, which includes increased infrastructure demands, which requires computing density, power consumption, cooling needs, energy consumptions, and the vulnerability about the impact of energy failure due to the grid, and the regulators scrutinizing in terms of what the power consumption requirement and emissions is also another factor to be taken into account. And with regard to the AI enhanced operations, we need a smarter data center. So we need to ensure that predictive maintenance, anomaly detection, and automated intelligence response. So some kind of a intelligence is required here also to manage the AI enhanced operations, and therefore you need to balance the AI risk and the benefits. So with the trusted infrastructure, of course, the cost goes up. With the risk on the one side, you need to ensure that the risk is also addressed and stakeholder confidence is enhanced. So there is a oversight to ensure safety, resilience, and operational trust while dealing with AI workloads. On the regulatory landscape. While we do all this, as I mentioned earlier, this aspect cannot be overlooked. So on the regulatory aspects, the data centers are very strategic and geopolitical assets. Yeah, while we go through all the company laws to have the infrastructure registered and meeting all the compliance, we also need to ensure that there is a very the governance compliance governance is strong governance is built in to ensure that all the regulatory compliance are met. So here are some of them which are highlighted. One is of course, it's a strategic importance to the government, and therefore the regulation zero non-compliance is something what is expected from the regulators. And while the data centers are being built in as required by the law of the country, data localization, we don't want any highly sensitive information to be kept in the other country. The data center is what you build and how you maintain. Data localization, where the data should be kept within the country, needs to be followed, and adequate protection measures should be implemented to ensure that there is no unauthorized access to the data. Trusted infrastructure design is something new which is emerging. So trusted infrastructure is the a kind of a governance. It's a holistic governance which addresses availability, security, sustainability, compliance, and transparency. That's the kind of a design what is required to all this issue. And of course, the global regulatory confidence is something which we need to build while we are implementing these solutions. And definitely they have oversight, and we need to time report in terms of the compliance and as to how we are maintaining. On the one of the success factor is about the recovery following business disruption. So here the focus is on resilience. Resilience is about the how you build an infrastructure and how you recover as soon as possible from a disruption to avoid failures or a major impact to the business. And the recovery part of objectives becomes vital, and along the side of traditional availability metrics. So this would be seen as one of a critical success factor by many of the stakeholders in terms of how quickly you recover following business disruption. Supporting technologies includes distributed architecture, data replication, intelligent traffic management should be built in to enable faster recovery. And regular drills and what you call simulation should be done as frequently as possible to ensure that the controls are effective at all times. So here, one of the critical success factor is about one is following an impact, how long you will be able to sustain when you come back to normal. So that's a very one of our critical factor while we are recovering, and while we recover, we should be able to sustain until we come back to normal. So these controls needs to be demonstrated. That's the one of the requirement, not only by the regulators, by also the stakeholders. On the attributes, to reiterate on the attributes about trusted infrastructure is about resilience and continuity, cybersecurity and zero trust. Protect the data center infrastructure using zero trust principle and minimize the risk. Data integrity and recoverability ensure that enough data backup is maintained, and they are accessible even after the incident and recover as quickly as possible. Sustainability and governance is about the governance within the organization to maintain environmental and social responsibility, governance to ensure compliance to law and ethics is the requirements. So with this, here is a question. So Chavinder, I would request you to start the polling question to know what would be the greatest impact on a data center strategy today. Which challenge is having the greatest impact on the data center strategy today?
Thank you, sir. I have launched the poll question one. I request all participants to please submit your responses. You can see the poll on your screen. If in any case you're not seeing the poll on your screen, you can please go to chat, and on the chat side you can give your responses. Thank you. So thank you everyone giving your responses over the poll. So Ravindra sir, if I give you the quick response and the result over the poll, so
Yeah.
37% of people they are thinking like there's a rising energy cost and sustainability demand. 39% people are thinking scaling for AI and high performance workload. 0% people think ensuring uptime and resilience. 0% vote for talent shortages and skills gap, and 24% for cybersecurity risk.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that the final score 40% on scaling AI and the high performance workload. Well, that's the right answer. While the others are also the focus area, but while the multiple challenges exist, the surge in AI-driven workloads is currently the biggest force reshaping the data center because it influences the power design of the infrastructure, cost, and sustainability decisions. Thank you. Thanks for this answers. And moving forward, yeah, here's a small video which you can.
There's no sound in the video, Chavi.
Ravindra sir, I guess you have to once unscreen your share and then share it with sound. Then I believe everybody can hear.
So sorry.
You have to once share with sound. Now you can share your screen once again, and then on the top you can see share with sound, so the
Okay.
everybody can hear the audio.
Yeah, there would be
So
include
I have
sound
to
button. Yeah, while sharing, there would be an include sound option at the top.
Yeah, yes.
Perfect.
Now it's working.
The data center industry is set to double to more than $584 billion by 2030, creating extraordinary opportunities for providers who can demonstrate excellence and build trust in this rapidly expanding market. With hyperscale Scale data centers doubling every 5 years, providers who showcase best practice frameworks can gain competitive advantage and access to premium opportunities in this growth market. BSI have developed a data center mark of trust, which helps organizations to provide reassurance to clients, governments, international bodies, and major tech companies that they meet legal and regulatory requirements and are committed to ongoing resilience and sustainability. BSI's Data Centers Mark of Trust, offered in 2 categories for facilities and services providers, streamlines complex standards into clear competitive advantage, helping companies communicate excellence efficiently and win business faster. Through these marks of trust, companies showcase verified excellence in cybersecurity, data privacy, energy efficiency, carbon management, business continuity, and water usage. Built on internationally recognized standards, the scheme provides a dynamic framework that evolves with your business, keeping you at the forefront of industry best practices as technologies and expectations advance. Our flexible modular approach enables data center operators to tailor their certification journey, focusing on the areas that deliver greatest value to their specific customers and markets. BSI brings globally recognized authority as the UK's national standards body and founding member of ISO, enhancing your reputation and building confidence with clients, investors, and partners worldwide. The Mark of Trust framework creates clear market differentiation. Mark holders benefit from premium market positioning, enhanced partnership opportunities, and stronger stakeholder confidence. It's a powerful way to transform trust into business growth. BSI's Mark of Trust. Streamline standards, showcase excellence, and grow your business.
Okay, so let me start the presentation.
Yeah.
Ravinder sir, can you please share your screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll take it ahead. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Ravindra, for sharing your insights. And now I will speak with you on a little about Mr. Ravindra. I think slides are unshared. Can you share the slides, please?
Okay.
Shavi, can I share my slides?
Yeah,
Will
I
that
did.
be okay? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah.
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 You're able to
Can
see
you
the
go?
screen?
Yeah, I can see the screen. Can you go just one slide back? Yeah, exactly. So I will now speak about a little on our mark of trust products. So here you can see the 2 badges on the screen, which will I'll cover briefly. So these two products, as explained in the previous video of 2.5 minutes, they are exclusively for data centers. One of them is highlighting the need of ensuring sustainability for data center facilities, and another for the service side, the services that data center support, the ICT services. Can you go to the next slide, Mr. Ravindra? Yeah. When we talk about our country, India, we have been a service driven economy. Now, the digitalization is also peaking. Plus, as explained by Mr. Ravindra rightly, we are in the age of AI transformation. The data is becoming new currency. We are surrounded by models like generative AI, agentic AI, chat GPT, all those things. For day-to-day usages, we are using them. As our dependency increases, there is a push which comes on better network, better storage requirement, better service response time, fast switching frequencies, and it all has a back-end impact on the infrastructure. So do we only need a robust infrastructure, or there is an additional need? We not only need a robust resilience infrastructure, but we need one which is supporting the sustainability around it. Investors, they don't want to invest on the projects or on the services who are only generating profits without compromising the need of environment social governance, which we call as ESG. With this focused thought in the mind, BSI have involved with various stakeholders and industry experts to create a first of its kind mark of trust for data center solution to address these key challenges and help organization to succeed. With this, let me first speak about the DCMOT for facilities. DCMOT stands for Data Center Mark of Trust. When I speak about the facilities, we always start our discussion on energy, water, and other elements. But let me give you a fact check here. The fact on the right side of the screen, which is a press release by METI, which is Ministry of Electronics and IT in India, it has clearly shown the trajectory how our energy consumption, the data center demand has increased from the past 5 to 6 years. It has been 4 times growth in the past few years. METI also gives the data, the estimation of the next 5 years, 2030 and 31, showcasing it might reach somewhere around 13 gigawatts, which is huge for a country like India with this population as well. So energy demand, the per capita energy usage, they will increase. But as part of the national net zero goal, our 2070 goal as well, the data center industries, the data center infrastructure will play a key role in ensuring that that net zero goal is also met. Even the local discoms, the distribution companies, the central electricity authority, they have already started telling the states to keep in mind the data center requirements while you are planning the energy needs or the grid infrastructure. So that's on the energy side for you. Can we go to the next screen? See the map on the right side of the screen. This map reflects that most of the data centers present in India now they are having in the water stress locations, more than 50% of them. If you see, if you see the bigger circles talks about the number of data centers. Like the biggest circle is 50 or more than that. So if you see the data centers presence, the bigger data centers presence, it highlights the water stress and the geographical concentration risk. This is a map which is displayed by World Resource Institute. So water is no doubt, it's also one of the challenge. Can we go on to the next slide? Now there are policy drivers as well. Since the push is coming from the net zero, from the water stress, the states, the government are also participating. How they are participating? By coming up with the policies. ESG policy, policy around data center, like states like Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, and the frameworks around data center requirements in Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Telangana. These policies specifically highlights how the future of data center new infrastructure creation should support the environment, social and governance aspect into it. Policies do have a push towards better cooling load management, better scope 2 emission reduction, better water usage effectiveness. They do have a push towards it. But are these policy? Do they compare with the benchmark against the power usage or water usage? Is it may or may not be there? But this mark of trust will be something that will evaluate you with the comparison of the benchmarking as well. Can we go to the next slide? In this slide, I have showcased you an interlinkage between the ISO standards and between some of the performance parameters asked in the data center industry. From the facility viewpoint, the power usage effectiveness relates with your energy efficiency. A lot of us, everybody working in the data center industry may be aware about this. This relates to our ISO 50001 Energy Management System standard. The next, water usage effectiveness. Water efficiency is the focus area, which is relates to our ISO 46001, which is water efficiency management system. Another performance parameters from facility point of view, CUE or REF, the carbon usage effectiveness or renewable energy factor, the carbon intensity and RE usages. This relates to our ISO 14068, which is a standard focusing on net zero neutrality. And yes, the uptime rating, the availability, which is the one which gains the confidence of the investors, which gains the confidence of customers. But along with that, we have the facility side parameters, the important parameters, which relates this way with the ISO standards. Can you go to the next slide, Mr. Ravindra? So data center facilities mark of trust revolves around a bouquet of these 5 standards. This is specifically for DC facilities, MOT. So it's availability protection, business continuity, energy management, water management, carbon management. Our certification applies to DC buildings and infrastructure. These are modular. Each module tackles a critical area like energy, security, availability, sustainability. Every module earns you a star rating, and there is no fixed order. As explained in the video, it shows you can customize you as per your requirement because you can choose basis upon what is material for you, what matters most for your organization, for your intended users. You can obtain this 5-star rating once you have these 5 standards in place. But wait, is that the only ask to have these standards in place and you achieve it? We will capture this in our upcoming following webinars, where we will explain also about the implementation side of this. Because there will be organizations who would be saying, I have this energy management, I have this business continuity, I have this water management. Can I immediately go and get this a star? There will be this kind of rushing to showcase the confidence to the investors, the stakeholders. But yes, we will explain this, how this differs from an existing ISO standards regular checks. Can we go to the next slide? So yes, this is not just a trend. We are in a phase of transformation because massive investment is flowing towards this. We have some challenges in front of us, and with this industry focus, we are targeting towards having a positive impact on the global sustainability and the India sustainability as well. So with this, I would once again pass on to Mr. Ravindra for taking it ahead from here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Ishan. And so here in the slide, we would like to mention that the digital data center mark of trust is not just something which we have evolved by ourselves. It is by involving a lot of data center customers here, which you see here. on the screen. Some of them are entity data, ATOS, Vantage, JDCC. We involve them. Listen to them carefully, and we have come out with this. And the need came from them. They said, we have ISO standards, yes, and we have been assessed. But then these ISO standards audits are happening at different point of time. We are having different people who are handling each of these standards, and we get a report in a piecemeal. Each one of them gives a report about business continuity, about security, about service management system, right? So they don't have a kind of a holistic view across all these aspects in terms of the health of a data center, or how do we get this support. Then we all sat together and designed this kind of a solution where the stakeholders would get to see that the health of a data center with regard to the data center facilities and the data center services. So before I go into this, here is the second question, which I would like Chavi to start the poll to know about which aspect of the regulatory landscape is having the greatest impact on the data center strategy today.
Thank you, sir. I have launched the poll question. So I request all participants to please give your responses. You can see the poll on your screen. If not, then you can go to your chat box and give your responses. Thank you. So last 10 seconds, I request again all participants to please give your responses. Then we are closing the poll. Thank you everyone whosoever give their responses. So Ravindra sir, 19% people says and vote for compliance with evolving ISO and global standard. 38% people vote for data sovereignty and localization requirement. 13% vote is for sustainability and ESG regulation. 19 audit complexity and certification cost. Thank you.
Thank you, Chavinder. There is no right answer I can say with these requirement. However, I would like to highlight that sustainability and ESG regulations is of a high focus among the regulators. They directly shape how the data centers are designed, powered, and scaled for the future, because the upcoming data centers, as I mentioned earlier, with the new technology, consuming more power, water, energy, all these aspects needs to be looked into. And therefore, from the regulators' perspective, sustainability and ESG regulations are of a higher focus, while other requirements are also very much there. And so that's the one area which we need to focus while we are looking at the future data center. Okay, so the second mark of trust is about the mark of trust of data center services. Data center services is all about the kind of the software as a service, platform of a service is what we provide. Infrastructure as a service you have a data center facility. That's another solution, which presented by Ishan. Here is a solution for those who are providing SaaS services or platform as a service. For such people, there are a set of 4 standards which they need to comply with. And these are all international best practices which are being followed by most of the data center, of course. But here, this kind of a mark of trust evaluation will, uh, go deeper into the requirement, and it will make you know what would be the area for improvement. And this kind of a reporting will get a star rating, and these star rating will make you to maintain your control effective and keep increasing your star ratings. And if you see there's no dilution in terms of this assessment. It also covers other very important regulatory requirements like NIS2, GDPR, DORA in EU requirements, which have now become a requirement. So all these things are addressed, and these are all addressed through enterprise risk assessment. And with reference to the statement of applicability from 27001 in terms of what are the controls are implemented. So this kind of a logo or the star rating, what you get will enhance the stakeholder. They get one clear picture in terms of the health of the services what we provide. Otherwise, we individually show separately the certificates of each of the standard. Where required, we separately show the reports to of each of the standard. And whatever activity you are already doing for your existing iOS standard is not will not replace that. It supplements and complements each other, right? And here it's much more deeper, which we evaluate the effectiveness of the controls because a star rating has to be given, right? So for a star rating, we cannot just look at a firewall change and say, okay, you have a higher star rating. The firewall change about the routers, the switches, and across the ecosystem, how the change management is maintained, all put together is what we look at in this star rating. And this assessment is much stringent and makes the assessment look much more effective in terms of the reporting. And these kind of ratings will enhance the stakeholder confidence. So it definitely stands out in the market. It demonstrates the best practices, what you are following. It gives an instant recognition because they will be able to see a holistic picture of the health of the data center, and which addresses all important areas of availability, production, business continuity, energy, water, and carbon management, right? And it also simplifies the compliance. The reports are also could be submitted to the regulators, and it's future-proof operations, which all the evolving standards or whatever changes that happens in this kind of evolution will take into account. And there is a instant maturity insight which is provided to the stakeholders with the star rating, that shows how effective are the controls within the data center. So with this, we have already piloted this solution with some of the data centers here. They have participated and given a very positive feedback with reference to this solution as to how this is meeting the requirements of the data center, as well as the future data center, which is evolving. And here is some of the information about the pilot, which we have already launched with the early adopters. And who should go for this kind of assessment? Here is a very broad the client list in terms of who could go for data. Of course, the data center owners and operators, third-party colo data center service providers, and cloud service providers, data center engineering firms, IT facility management firms, and of course, regulators and specific policy makers may request third-party organizations like us to assess the data centers to know the effectiveness to check the effectiveness of the data center controls, right? So this is a very broad list of clients who are eligible for this kind of an assessment. And so with this, we have the next question. Chavinder, you can start the next one. So there's a last question.
Yes, sir. I have launched the poll question and I'll keep this poll open for everybody because I believe we are now running out of time. We have 3 minutes left, sir. So if you allow, we can go with some question answer round and we can quickly give some replies to the participants. Um, so I guess there's some questions we do have. Also, we do have asked some prior question in the pre-registrations also. So the question is from Mr. Sunil Chandwani. He asks, is there any ISO standard for data centers? So yes, I believe we have already explained in these two previous slides. So I hope we have answered your question. Now, there's one question from CK. What is the process to get this mark of trust for both DC facilities and service center, and how much time it will take?
Okay, so yes, there is a like any certification process here also there's a process which we first would like to study the size and complexity of your data center based on which you are applying for facilities or the services kind of a data center services. And we have listed the all the standards for which you're eligible for facilities and services. And the data centers normally would be certified for some of the standards. If not, the controls would be very much in place if you're operating already a data center. So in this regard, if you ask me for a mark of trust for facilities kind of a mark assessment may take to 6 or 7 months or so. In the case of services, yeah, here again, based on the assumption that either you would have been certified, if not certified, either the controls would be in place. Given the fact for you to go for this kind of a certification would be of a similar timeline, 6 to 7 months is what we see. Of course, we will later share, based on your request, the proper kind of a roadmap for this certification. There's a roadmap which you are going to start from zero, and there is also a roadmap like where you already have sufficient control in place. So that will help you to plan for this kind of assessment.
Thank you so much, sir. Now I'll take just one last question because it's now 4 o'clock. So the question is more related to sustainability, and I believe Mr. Ishan can give the response. So data centers are consume huge amount of energy and water. The requirement will be add-on in the future. So how to address this concern in terms of sustainability?
Okay, so yes, I think the power demand is going to be huge, and because of this AI revolution in place, and every organization is now moving towards having their own AI related tools in place as well, which, as I mentioned, the power demand will be increasing. So a couple of standards where ISO supports about this is, one is having an energy management system in place, and another is having a carbon management system in place. So if when we talk about the ISOs, they give you a discipline, they give you a processed thinking, structured thinking, and they give you a focus upon your top most priorities, that where you think that the significant consumption is happening, like cooling load management. So there is something that you need to continuously improve, look for better technology, better alternatives, better projects, better energy efficiency technology. So there are ISO available like 50,001 which supports the energy management, and when it comes to carbon side, there is ISO 14064 series which talks about the quantification. So until you quantify, you cannot prioritize. So that's how the organizations can have a blended approach, that they can start with the ISO 14064 in place, the carbon footprint. And from carbon footprint, once they identify their hotspots, they can start working upon them structurally by the use of carbon management plan in place, by taking a pledge of neutrality or net zero, and by having the energy management systems like 50,001 in place. So this is how the organizations can look into for continuously evolving and continuously improving when it comes to the power side of it. Yeah.
Thank you, Ishan. Thank you for your answer. And I hope we had done this session. It's been now over time now. So I would like to quickly give the closing remarks to each and every participant and the speaker. So once again, thank you everyone for joining us today for this session. And if due to time limit we are unable to like answer your questions, so with the after this webinar, we will definitely share the recording with you, and we will answer those questions on the recording webinar email. And once again, I would like to give a special thank you to Mr. Ravindra N.R. sir and Ishan Mehrotra for sharing your expertise and guiding us through the entire discussion. And on behalf of the entire BSI team, I would like to once again thank you each and every participant for joining us today and be engaging on this session. So have a great day and stay safe. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Happy weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.